from June. Let's bring in Kenneth Vecchio, attorney and Republican strategist, and Dr. Wallace Ford, public administration professor at Medgar Evers College, to talk about this a little bit more. Let's start by talking about this whole whistleblower complaint here, because it focuses on this phone call, allegedly, between President Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart. That's what the Washington Post is saying. The allegation seems to be that the president tried to pressure Ukraine here, the government, to open this investigation into Joe Biden, who Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, former New York City mayor, of course, claims bribed the president of Ukraine in order to fire a prosecutor who was investigating Biden's son. There's a lot of working pieces here. The president says it doesn't matter if he asked for the investigation. Start with you, Wallace, does it?
Well, let's just, if we go almost replay the tape, listen to what we're talking about here. My goodness, this is the President of the United States. It's not just some guy. It's the President of the United States who is actually engaged in conversations with a foreign leader, dealing somehow. And again, if it wasn't for this whistleblower, we wouldn't know it, which of course raises the question, what else don't we know? We know that, for example, he met with Vladimir Putin and confiscated the notes from his own note taker, so we don't even know what kind of conversations take place. But to the extent that there's any credibility to this whistleblower story, and it's been researched by the Wall Street Journal as well as the Washington Post and other sources, some kind of conversation took place with the President of the United States speaking to the head of state who was expecting $250 million from the United States, by the way, which Donald Trump was blocking at the time of this conversation, that he's trying to get some kind of information with respect to political opponents. And you also played the clip where he has said before, when he was with George Stephanopoulos, for example, saying that yes, he would, in fact, whether it was Norway with all of those blonde people that he likes so much, whether it's from Norway or from any other place, that he would listen to dirt on his political opponents.
Ken's about to explode here.
Well, yeah, no, well, let's give him one more thing. Yeah, listen. Ken.
Did you hear about the volcano in New York City?
No.
The volcano in New York City. Wait, no, seriously.
No, Ken, I want you to really explode. I want you to really explode.
The volcano in New York City is like the whistleblower.
We're talking about this in real time. We're talking about this in real time.
Can I get a word in now?
Yeah, sure.
This whistleblower complaint, it's like this volcano in New York City. Did you hear about the whistleblower complaint? What whistleblower complaint? This is a bunch of talk. This is a bunch of nonsense. You know who whistleblowers are? Whistleblowers are people, they're nut jobs, and people who have no credibility and no evidence that partisans say that they're all of a sudden credible. You know how many complaints there are about Donald Trump out there right now? Thousands and thousands of complaints. But somehow the far left media has seized on this alleged complaint, which we don't know anything about. I don't necessarily believe or disbelieve anything the Washington Post says. The Washington Post is an advocacy paper. Advocacy paper that is opposed to Donald Trump.
Is the Wall Street Journal also in that category?
Now let's squarely talk about the particular issues that are purportedly at play here. If the President of the United States is having dialogue with another foreign leader, the President of Ukraine, about an alleged act of major corruption in that country, the president has a right to ask for that to be investigated. And the president is having about, I don't know, maybe 500 different pieces of dialogue about 500 different separate issues with that president. To try to link that to gain in his potential election in 2020 is patently absurd. So the president of the United States or anybody who's running against office against anybody can't say, I want to see if that person's investigated. If that's so, then every Democrat member of Congress right now has a legal problem for asking Donald Trump to be investigated, because maybe having Donald Trump out of the way betters their chances of winning. Well, this is absurd.
Ken, that's really amazing. I really hope that Donald Trump is listening, because you're just one more of his enablers. Listen for a moment. Just listen.
I'm an advocate for justice.
Okay, listen, advocate for justice. Okay, it wasn't just the whistleblower. Let's be real clear. The Inspector General, okay, who got this particular complaint from the whistleblower, determined that it was so serious that he needed to bring it to the attention of Congress. This is not just a nut. Stop. It's not just a nut job, okay? Unless you're going to say the entire process is corrupt, the entire process doesn't work. There's a reason why you have inspectors general do these kinds of things, okay?
Let's for a second, Dr. Ford.
Please, excuse me.
That's right. Let's for a second just take a step back from what the president may or may not have said in that phone call. Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
If there's an allegation that turns out to be true, that a former vice president, while he was vice president, as Rudy Giuliani has said, offered a bribe Should that be investigated?
Well,
Can I answer that?
Yeah. Well, I think I get to go first on this one.
Yeah, please go.
No. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it would be investigated in the Ukraine. That's where it would be investigated, because I assume that's where the act would have taken place.
So therefore, you made an admission that this was a rightful request by Rudolph Giuliani to ask the president of Ukraine to look into this potential allegation. I'm not saying that Biden's son is guilty of anything, by the way, much less Joe Biden. All I'm saying is asking for an investigation is prudent, it's fair, and there's nothing illicit about it.
Not when it's your political opponent. Not when you're the president of the United States and you're trying to get information on your political opponents by speaking to heads of state.
Are you saying that?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, read my lips. Read my lips. Yes, I am saying that.
I don't need to read your lips. I hear you loud and clear. It makes no sense.
Okay, I got one last thing for you, Ken. Is if instead of Donald Trump, substitute the name Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guarantee you, because your nose will just grow off your face if you tell me anything other than you would think this was absolutely improper conduct if it was Barack Obama. Or you think it would be okay if Barack Obama did this?
Absolutely not. You know about me. I am a person who's the author of the best-selling criminal law books in the country, and I take that very seriously.
So if Obama did it, it'd be okay?
I take the word justice very seriously.
So you're saying
absolutely, under no circumstances would I seek to have former President Obama prosecuted for the exact same
circumstances. Nobody's talking about prosecuting Trump.
Nobody's talking about prosecuting. Any of this hoopla about it, because he would have the authority to ask these types of questions. There is no evidence that there was a actual quid pro quo. There's 500 different.
He had $250 million. There's $250 million sitting in the bank, being held up by Donald Trump.
Why should we be giving the Ukraine $250 million in the first place to fight a war against somebody else?
Because Congress
doing that? Why do we ask that question?
Because Congress said so. The elected representatives of the people of the United States. Oh yeah, okay. The elected it's equal branches of government, right?
Yeah. Okay. But who had to make the ultimate determination? The president of the United States.
No.
Then the president didn't hold up the money then. If you're arguing that, the president of the United States.
I have to tell you, you guys are both great. You make my job easy. So thank you both so much for being here.
That's a pleasure as always.
Clearly, we could continue going on for quite some time. We didn't even touch on some of the other topics that we wanted to talk about. Next time.
It is Friday.
Next time. Dr. Wallace Ford, Kenneth Vecchio. Great to see you both as always.
Thanks, I'm done.
All right, coming up here on Stateside, the biggest Apple fanatic of all popped into the flagship